talk about where I've seen God in my life. My first thought was, well, I guess maybe I'm doing something right. Followed by, how many of y'all must have turned her down before she got to me? But so I thought about that question, and I finally landed on, where's been the most consistent and continual guidance in my life. Now, most of y'all know, or a lot of y'all know, that I'm a mechanical engineer by trade, right? A real engineer. I'm used to dealing with hard facts, physical objects, things that can be touched, held, measured, weighed, quantified, and physical properties. And real engineers are not known for seeking advice from others. We don't ask for help much. I got this is the regular mantra. So a still small voice doesn't have a chance to get in sometimes for that thought process. Unfortunately, God finds ways to get through different conduits for hard-headed people. In the Bible, he used a burning bush for Moses, a giant fish for Jonah. But for me, someone I can't ignore, my wife Sue, provides a lot of input that I don't necessarily hear right off. Even engineers have to listen to their spouse sometimes, though there is some selective hearing if you ask her. Proverbs 19:14 mentions that a prudent wife is from the Lord. And after 36 years of marriage and continual company there, she's proven to be very prudent and supportive and blessing me, as well as often being the conduit to gauge me in God's work. We have very complementary talents. I have the knack for fixing, repairing, and building things, and she has a gift for finding things that need fixing, repairing, and building. So she's comfortable filling roles such as the Wesley Board of Directors, the trustee chairperson, which tend to produce kind of an endless supply of opportunities in which I can help apply my talents for the Lord's work. She's partnered with me through many seasons in our church life and relationships, helping to engage us to fill the right needs in the right time. We sang in the early church choir back in the 90s when we had youngins, and we taught high school Sunday school for many years. One day we had discussions about family and marital relations, and I mentioned that, we're both engineers, we're both quite independent and pretty competent together, but we don't need each other, but we sure enjoy the blessings of each other's company. And then I made the mistake one day, a Freudian slip, where you say what you really thought, though you really didn't mean to say that. And I referred to her as my soulmate, which kind of came out like ball and chain, which was meant to be soulmate, of course. But sometimes, it's necessary. She helps anchor me in considering my ADD tendencies to want to do everything, but to keep me focused and influenced on, what's important. So in our ever-growing spiritual relationship through many Bible studies and other church and volunteer activities, including mission trips in Appalachia and Cuba, where she does actually have the skills to help work too. These trips provide opportunities to build relationships and share God blessings. On my very first trip, the last night of my first ASP trip, while changing the transmission in my car in the gravel driveway of the home we were repairing, with some help from the grandson, from what he had seen in his local life, he asked me, he said, "Can I be a Christian and still have friends?" And so we had a lot of discussion time in the dark under the car. But so finding a spouse that is from the Lord doesn't just happen. And choosing a spouse is definitely something a person should pray about, much more than just trusting a Google search or some internet function. Back when we met, the internet was not a source for personal information, so I had to rely on my best dorm mate, Flynn, a.k.a. Bummy, who had talked me into joining this co-ed service fraternity, APO, where I met Sue. And his glowing recommendation was, she's a really nice girl. She doesn't talk to me when I'm drunk. So that's a good sign. And, that semester she was intramural chairperson, and I was the volleyball coach, and she played volleyball. And then I found out she was the chaplain that semester, and I thought, well, she's probably got some similar values, and we should get to know each other, which we did. And I noticed, she was one of those few girls in Zachary Engineering Building back in the 80s, so it was easy to spot. There weren't a lot of girls in there yet. So eventually we had our first date, April 25th, the perfect date. It's not too hot, not cold. All you need is a light jacket. So that must have been a sign. Yeah, it was the good time to start in the right relationship. So often folks make the comment, happy wife, happy life, implying that happiness requires a lot of concessions and effort to see that she's happy first. But I'd say when your wife is truly a blessing, it's easy to be happy together. So God's been in my life consistently and had the foresight to put a messenger in my life that's even more stubborn than I am to get the message through. So thanks. That's been it.